Here are some other investment options. Each of these are not my personal favorite. However, again, as always, risk is in the investor. So if you know what you're doing, you can make money. I would advise playing around in the market first so you can see the trends real time before jumping into it with your own cash. So whether it's the stock, foreign exchange, or the cryptocurrency market, you can set up mock accounts to practice with fake money. To start off, let's look at the most well-known, which is the stock market. So here are a few things to keep in mind. Ideally, you want to go for dividend-yielding stocks. This allows for cash flow, so you win whether the market is up or whether it's down. Read or listen to the book Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. This is heralded by Warren Buffett as his start to investing and the best book that he's ever read. And even though it's an older book, its message is still timeless as long as the stock market is still around. This book is a must if you're serious about the stock market. His whole method is around value-based purchases. So when you buy, make sure you buy when the value is there, not just because dollar cost averaging. Everyone knows the phrase buy low and sell high, yet almost no one actually does it because they get caught up in the hype. Especially considering that the stock market is at an all-time high as this is being recorded, buying low is nearly impossible. The best investors sell high to optimists and buy low from pessimists. Buying early, often and always, never gets you the best value on your purchases. Many smart investors will wait until the market dips or crashes, and then they get all the stocks that they wanted at a discount instead of paying for all the hype like the rest of the market. The only person who benefits from you always buying is the broker that's selling them to you, which is why big companies like Merrill Lynch charge you every time that you make a trade. The news and analysts are always pitching the new hot stock to keep their world spinning, not to make you money. So if you are going to trade, use the free trading app Robinhood. So at least you're not paying for commissions on your trades. And use stop losses to prevent or minimize your losses. There are preventative measures, so even if a company that you invest in bellies up, you can still get out in time to preserve most of your capital. Warren Buffett's well known in saying, "All boats rise with the tide, but you find out who's swimming naked when the tides turn back." The next option is a lot more desirable, especially now, and this is cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of cryptos. However, if you want to get the full idea of why they were created and their implications for the future, please watch the documentary Banking on Bitcoin. So why has Bitcoin, the world's leading cryptocurrency, been shooting up to crazy heights in the last year or so? A few reasons is, number one, the US dollar, like most government currencies, are a fiat or fake money. So ever since the United States abandoned the gold standard in 1933, there has been nothing backing the US dollar except the word of the US government. As you may know, our government has the ability to print paper money whenever it wants. So anytime a currency increases the number of units, it devalues each of the individual units in circulation. Another big issue is corruption and human error, and are pretty common in all fiat currencies around the world. A perfect example is the housing bubble of 2007 that was created by Wall Street. The Big Short is a great movie made just a few years ago that goes into detail for what actually caused the crash. Last but not least, governments and politicians control the flow of money, so less and less people are trusting their government and their politicians. When in comparison, cryptos for the most part are unhackable, even though early on Bitcoin did get hacked, and they have improved their security, and really Bitcoin isn't even the most secure crypto on the market. Also, they're not prone to human error. It's essentially an encrypted ledger book that everyone using these cryptos can see real time where each of the cryptos are going. It's in the hands of the people, at least for now. It was created by an ultra-libertarian whose direct intent was to take power away from the government and the banking system and give it back to the people using it. So while it is being regulated, I don't think it will ever be fully controlled by any government entity. In my mind, cryptos are to 2017 and to 2020 what the dot-com bubble was in the late 90s. Tons of people made lots of money because the whole entire market was going bonkers. And just like that bubble, nothing lasts forever. Every free market will correct itself over time, so make sure you have an exit strategy when stuff hits the fan. One of the main reasons Bitcoin keeps going up is because more and more people join daily, and people continue to find more and more ways of using it instead of normal currencies. We are already seeing homes and cars and other material things being traded for Bitcoin. That being said, Bitcoin is not even the easiest crypto to use, the safest, or the fastest for transfers. So if you are going to invest in cryptocurrencies, just like you would in stocks, watch the market, and unless you know some inside tip, try to stick to top-rated companies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Each of these has more than doubled in value in the last year, so there are some very insane returns that are possible. There are hundreds of cryptocurrencies shooting up, so just make sure that you don't get sucked into the hype. It's laughable to mention, however, FACASH got introduced a while back, and before closing down, it took hundreds of thousands of dollars from silly investors thinking it was the next Bitcoin. Please do not lose your money chasing bad buys. If you do choose to buy a smaller crypto, enter at your own risk and do not put in any money that you cannot lose. Just realize while the potential upside is massive if you buy at pennies, the value gets into the dollars. You could get 10 or 100 times your money. However, there's also a good chance that it never gets adopted on a large scale and will just wither away as time passes. These next 5 investments are a lot less appealing, so I'm just going to buzz through them fairly quickly. First is foreign exchange. I've dabbled a little bit but lost money in foreign exchange because I didn't do my due diligence and research before jumping in. Foreign exchange is literally the trade of different currencies or different government currencies, and as long as nations are trading with each other, this market will continue to go up and down based on global events and public opinion. So just like other investments, do your research and then buy low when the value is there and sell high when it's above the real value. The second is bond ladders. These are low risk and low reward. There are various kinds of bonds depending on the industry, and some are even government issued. And historically they give a 2 to a 4% return. One of the biggest things is that they are not fully guaranteed. So you can lose the value in the bonds. And as interest rates go up, bonds tend to go down. So interest rates are pretty low right now, but they are going up. So I wouldn't advise it. The third is certificates of deposit. These are one of the least slick and sexy investments on the market. They have a very low risk and very low reward, and right now CDs are only offering like 1.5% to 3%. So as of now, it doesn't even counter inflation, so it's not wise to sink your money here. Your fourth option is gold and silver. From what I understand about gold, it's usually used as a hedge against the US dollar. So when the dollar is strong, gold is weak, and vice versa. Even though some people have made money buying and selling gold, I think it's few and far between. And unless you have a direct passion or some huge inside knowledge, I wouldn't mess with gold or silver. And last is oil and gas. I don't know much about it, so I stay away. I do know, however, that there are some extremely large tax advantages, but really with renewable resources becoming so popular, plus the fact that I don't think humans should destroy their own planet, I see this as a dying industry. No matter what path to wealth that you decide is for you, just make sure that you're constantly learning in that field to stay ahead of the competition. Applied knowledge is power, so get to studying and then apply what you're learning. Your awesome future awaits.